Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast, and before I make... Alright, there you go. Had a couple of videos where everything was set up correctly, and for some reason, my voice still wasn't being recorded. So, there, you guys got to see the little indicator that my voice is being recorded as we now move into Game 1 in a series between mouz Sports' Hasu and Liquid's Zenio here on Entombed Valley. A Protoss versus Zerg here on Entombed Valley. I believe this was taken from IEM as well. Some IEM replays are being released rather slowly, but I am still enjoying this very, very high level of gameplay that we see here. Hasu looks like he will be setting up a low ground pylon for what I expect to be a Forge Fast expansion. Now, Forge Fast expansion timings, there's two ways to really go about it. You can either continue to chrono boost out probes once that pylon is done in order to set up around a 16 or 17 nexus and then go for your Forge. Or you can try to do things a little bit differently, where you try to set up your Forge first, just in case your opponent doesn't go for an earlier spawning pool. It's one of the ways that Protoss players in general can try to keep their Zerg opponent in check. Now, the number of third bases are pretty limited for Zenio. The third base most likely will be taken here. The problem will be these destructible rocks here on the high ground. Now, not only do rocks have very, very high armor, making it difficult for Zerglings to take them down, there's also limited surface area on these rocks, meaning that not that many Zerglings can actually attack at the same time. We can see the spawning pool is coming into play from Zenio. It looks as though there is a probe sitting on the ramp. He wants to see when that one drone will be making its way over, and he is going to be darting his way back up. Is he going to be able to intercept the drone in time? Yes, it looks like he will be able to do exactly that. Still dancing and darting around here as he will be setting up his own Nexus in just a second. Nexus is now down. The probe able to split the defense, go down the middle, and oh, so barely escape with 5 hit points. That is a probe with an adrenaline rush going in between two drones right there. Almost got clawed apart, but was able to slip away. Now, the probe does want to come back here. He does want to make sure that that hatchery is coming in. And now, I am still a little surprised that an Overlord of Zenio has not actually positioned itself, and no scouting has come down to actually spot this Nexus. We can see there is a Forge here, a gateway here, and I believe there will be a photon cannon here in just a moment. I am curious as to how the rest of this front door will be sealed, as we now see the 4th base trying to be established by Zenio. Now, we can quickly see that Hasu has placed down a pylon in order to block this, and normally Zerg players in general try to take this expansion sometime around the 4-minute mark. You can see the number of resources floating by Zenio, currently sitting at over 300, meaning there will be a hatchery. So this is going to be 3 bases, as we are getting up a proxy gateway here. And when I mean proxy, I mean temporary gateway there, as there should be a cybernetics core, and then perhaps a probe will be sitting there. Nope, photon cannon now apparently not liking Terran, deciding to destroy destructible rocks on the map here on the low ground. Now, Hasu is going to be chrono boosting out, and now we will see what exactly Hasu does in terms of his follow-up. Once the cybernetics core is done, we could expect to see either a Stargate or a robotics facility. Robotics facility very effective against Zerg just because of how strong roaches are early in the game. Robotics facility is that perfect counter with those immortals, and it also does provide sight up onto the high ground with observers. Meanwhile, the Stargate does allow for a very expensive harassment with Phoenixes. Phoenixes, fast-moving units, can shoot down these overlords all across the map in order to limit sight and force Zerg players to spend more larvae on overlords, something that Zerg players generally don't want to do. Anytime that they can train a drone instead, they would be happy to do that. One Zealot now making its way out by itself. I am still surprised that we don't see any weapons upgrade coming in from Hasu, which is a telltale sign that Hasu is playing a longer economic game. He is not trying to do any sort of 2-base timing from what I can tell, and with this third pylon, or this base and pylon here, it looks like he is going to try to get up onto 3 bases. Now, let's take a look at the harvester count. It is 38 to 36. Hasu is now going to be setting up this Nexus at the 6-minute 45-second mark, and that is very, very early for Protoss. Trying to get up on that many bases, that is almost greedy in some situations. Very, very greedy, as we are now going to be seeing triple gateways here on the front door, perhaps also adding in a photon cannon to make sure that the Zerglings are not going to be able to clean that up. One Zealot trying to run back up. Will he be able to make it? No, he does not. He is going to get easily surrounded and only takes down one Zergling in that entire matchup there. Alright, a Stalker. Is it going to be able to get up there? Zenio, does he see up onto the high ground? Yes, he does. And there is a Stalker on the backside, forcing all of those Zerglings away. There is also some sentries down here. This photon cannon has to be very, very careful. Hasu could accidentally let a large group of Zerglings slip by if he is not one step ahead of his opponent. We are now sitting at a 3-base Protoss versus a 3-base Zerg, and Zenio at this point has the option to continue to train up drones and then just try to be fully saturated on 3 bases, or he can try to take up a 4th base, and it looks like he is going to be doing that. So this is a base race in the opposite sense. Who can establish up the most bases and maintain that economy? Zerg players generally are favored in that, as we see also a proxy hatch coming in from Zenio. Level 1 missile upgrades for roaches. We are teching the tier 2, meaning we are going to be into layer tech, as we are getting up a Zealot in that front door. Level 1 weapons upgrade now finally coming in from Hasu. A bit late, but still should be able to handle all of these Zerglings pretty easily. Hasu's options. He is going very heavy into sentries. I don't see a robotics bay yet, just a facility. And at some point, I do expect in Colossi to come out. I am a bit concerned for Hasu, though. Hasu has not yet placed down any serious pressure toward to his opponent, and Zenio is perhaps sitting on close to 80 supply now, just in workers. Once a Zerg player is able to get up to 80 supply in workers, they can sit on 3 and 4 bases with very little diminishing returns. You can take a look here, only 17 drones on minerals here, meaning that he pretty much has 2 drones per patch on all of these bases, or will have 2 drones per patch on all of these bases. Hasu's follow-up does show that this is going to be a 3-base timing, a robotics facility and a robotics bay coming in at the same time. This is going to be dual robotics facility Colossi, and perhaps Immortals, as we are now also going into a Twilight Council. The Twilight Council will most likely allow for blink upgrades, and Hasu is just playing this very, very macro-centric, sitting on 70 probes compared to 87 drones. And Zenio has to have the economic lead. Yes, is harvesting about 400-500 more minerals a minute, and Zenio is going to have a significant advantage in terms of gas, as well as he is now establishing up 2 additional extractors here at his 4th base. I do believe that comes out to 900 gas, I think. 900 gas. You can do a lot of things sitting on that much gas, as we are now going into level 2 weapons upgrade, Colossi, and perhaps a lot of Zealots in order to deal with all of the melee units, those Zerglings and those roaches. Zealots do act as very good cannon fodder pretty much, and we are going to be seeing where these units go. Oh, one poor changeling gets shot in the face by an Immortal, and down it goes. Zerglings do not have any armor upgrades, and this is a bit of a surprise. That means that the Zealots will be able to one-shot all of these Zerglings, and Zenio, even though he does have the larger supply advantage right now, the overall advantage in terms of army is not that apparent. There is about actually an advantage now for Hasu, even though he is behind in terms of total supply there. Perhaps, yes, 92 drones versus 74 probes. Zenio at some point should be pulling off some of these drones here from the main base. I don't think he actually needs that many, and starting his spine crawler here, spine crawler wall that we see here. So Zenio going to be freeing up that supply, letting those drones mine a bit more, getting a very strong bank, and then going to be attacking with what I believe to be Infestor Broodlord. All right, aggression on both sides, pretty much. Not much happening here. Zenio keeping Hasu in check. Hasu pretty much waiting for his perfect combination of units before he moves out, as we are going into the Gravitic Drive for Warp Prism. We now see 3 Colossi are here. 1 Overseer quickly shot down, in addition to a Changeling. And now Zenio is playing a bit in the dark. Are we going to see perhaps a traversing of the banana hallway? No, we are not. Not here on Entombed Valley. This Colossus Death Ball, Stalker Sentry Colossus Death Ball, now finally moving out. And the Zerglings are going to perhaps be coming around the far side. We could see additional gateways here to make sure that there is not going to be any Zerglings running by. One poor Zealot going to quickly get surrounded as the Zerglings going to shut down this here. Now, Stalkers are reinforcing. Is it going to be enough? The Stalkers are working together. You can see there are some Zealots here as well, as we are now seeing a large attack coming in from Zenio. There is some fungal growth, and those units are getting picked apart. A large group of Corruptors now coming in. They will be able to cast Corruption as the Stalkers are trying to engage still. Zerglings and Roaches preventing the base from coming in. Meanwhile, Hasu with that Gravitic Drive is going to do a straight up drop here in the third. The Zealots do have upgrades, and with their upgrades are almost two-shotting those drones. However, natural regeneration is really helping out. Now the Stalkers are coming in through the front door. Corruptors are now coming in as well. You can see how much damage is being dealt as the Corruptors are trying to focus down the Colossi. One Colossus does go down, as we now see some force fields preventing any Zerglings from hitting their targets. We still see a whole bunch of spine crawlers here, and without the Greater Spire and no Broodlords, this ground army of Stalkers have been able to blink forward and really shut down these Corruptors. The Colossus are really here to deal with the spine crawlers, and once the spine crawlers are down, then the Stalkers can pretty much perhaps finish off the rest of the units, but there are still a fair amount of Infestors with energy. Down goes another Colossus there. No more Zealots in this group. We need to see a reinforcement as Hasu is trying to push. Zenio sitting at 197 supply, remaxing pretty much instantaneously, and now is he going to be able to deal any damage? Fighting on creep, not a good idea, especially when Zerglings are involved. And here we go. That is the best position that Hasu is going to get, but I think he did overextend, and Zenio now with a 60 supply advantage, shutting down all of these Stalkers, should get the win here on game 1. More units still reinforcing, but a 3-base timing attack from Hasu, not good enough to go up against Zenio, who was pretty much able to macro as much as he wanted whenever he wanted. It's just going to be a matter of time before the units flooding in from Zenio are too much. So many Infestors, so many fungal growths could be coming in to shut down this attack here. Zenio now sitting at 200 supply. You can see what is happening. Oh, drones are now falling back down over here once more. This harassment technique is working out a little bit. The Roaches are trying to reinforce, and it looks like the Roaches will finish off all the Zealots pretty quickly, as more and more Zealots are still warping in. Alright, the Zealots, however, are melee units. They're not going to be able to fight here all too easily, as the Roaches have been playing, or just playing a great game of defense, chasing away all of these Zealots, and some of them are very low on hit points. Here we have another Stalker now warping in here. Is also going to go into phase mode. He might, in order to perhaps shut down the Greater Spire. He now knows that his opponent does have that Greater Spire, and he has to be very, very cautious about those Broodlords, now opting to go into perhaps Void Rays with that Stargate. Stalkers are engaging, however, they do decide to blink back. The Colossus are nowhere nearby in order to push back all of these Zerglings and Roaches. Here we have all the kids being dropped off at the pylon. 7 Broodlords now working together, and this Broodlord Infestor army is going to cause some problems. Now, we should be seeing the Fleet Beacon and the Mothership come out momentarily, as Hasu now oversaturating this one mineral patch beyond recognition. We need to perhaps see some pylons come down here, make a wall so that Zerglings are unable to run by. Zenio apparently happy to be sitting on the number of bases that he has. He's sitting on 194. Hasu fighting his way back in, trying to close in that gap. Total worker kill count 24-3, and I really thought Hasu was didn't have a leg to stand on, but he's still building up a very, very sizable army. All of these Zerglings, will they be able to run in and get the job done? That is the question there, as we now see some long distance mining. Roaches not going to be able to do very much, as the Stalkers simply blink forward and finish that off. Here we have a whole bunch of Zerglings. Oh, this could be very bad news. Are we going to get a force field? A Zealot warped in just in time. Probes are unable to traverse that particular ramp there, as the Colossi may be able to finish up. No, in comes the counterattack by Zenio from the far side once more, as infested Terrans now being laid down. All right, the Zealots are trying to hold this off. Probes are walking in between these bases, and Hasu now only 6 supply behind, and now training up even more units here. Stalker's going to finish off the rest of these Roaches here. A couple Zealots fall, but a beautiful hold by Hasu. Yeah, a beautiful hold by Hasu means that Hasu may actually perhaps set himself up in the best possible position to win this game. We are going into a mothership core, or sorry, excuse me, a mothership. This is not Heart of the Swarm. We are now going into a mothership now, and what is going to be key is whether or not these Archon toilets will be effective. Stalkers, Colossi, Zealots, all in position now. Here we have Broodlords and Infestors now making a move out across the map. Zenio sitting at 200 over 200, and now we see another base being taken by Hasu. Hasu will at some point, yes, need to transfer probes from his natural over here to what will be his 5th base. Overseers now are in this group as well. The Overseers have to be very careful though. The Overseers are the only thing that can actually spot and give sight once this one particular mothership core does come out. Broodlords dropping the Broodlings off at the Nexus. This Nexus is going to fall rather quickly, as infested Terrans are now making their way in. One Archon going to get picked apart by Broodlings. Horrible, horrible way to go, as the Archon now tries to back away. Alright, this Nexus will be falling. There it goes, and the units are once again in retreat. Roaches trying to act or move forward. Stalkers perhaps need to blink forward. Who are they? How are they going to be able to engage? As Zenio still sitting at 192. All right, we may have a warp in onto the low ground, but there is a spine crawler already there. That means that any warp in attempt will pretty much fade the instant that they try to warp in. All right, in comes more Broodlings. Broodlings being straight up dropped off inside the base. All of these gateways will go unpowered here in just a moment, as the mothership now makes its way in. All right, are we going to see an attack? Overseers are going to get taken down. Broodlings, however, doing a beautiful surround, as we are both seeing both sides still fight. Infestors may be able to get off some more fungal growth. Hasu now down to 133. There is the neuroparasite on the mothership for just a moment, and I believe that actually allowed the Infestor to get Cloak, or perhaps not. But Zenio still playing this game like a pro, and is going to be able to shut this all down. All right, so many Zealots now getting taken down here. That's an obvious changeling, since it's not cloaked, as we are seeing all of these Broodlords perhaps turn around. Are we going to see a fungal growth? Yes, there is another fungal growth there. Infestor Broodlords, so powerful, as these Infestors are perhaps trying to get off more and more fungal growth to shut this down. Now, we can see that this Spine Crawler does have 1 kill here, was able to take down some more units, as Zerglings are now going to try to make their way in. There is a Congo line of Zealots here, as the probes are able to simply slip by. Very, very low priority in terms of aggression, as the Zerglings are not attacking at all. All right, 1 photon cannon. That photon cannon already paid its way out. 34 kills. Majority of them are Zerglings, but still the Zealots are trying to hold here. Probes now once again being transferred. Hasu still in a bad situation once more. He was able to claw his way back in, or laser his way back in, but it feels like Zenio is slowly clawing away any possibility for Hasu again, dropping off more Broodlings, taking down a pylon, and now stopping the reinforcements. Broodlings finishing this off here, and meanwhile, Infestors, are they going to be able to get off a fungal growth? Yes, they do. Colossi are now currently stuck. More Infestors walking straight into this group. Not a good call at all. Fungal growths do go down, as the mothership now still trying to keep up here. The mothership making its way over. Overseer moving perhaps a little bit too far, may get taken down. There is a vortex, and there is the GG by Hasu. Zenio taking game 1 very impressively in a long drawn out battle. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1.